Okay, let's talk about the 6 types of penny stocks you're going to encounter in the markets. Number one, the scam. I know everybody thinks these things are scams, but yes, a small percentage are scams. Number two, this one is very common, the fake it till you make it stock. Number three, the dreamer. Number four, now this is a rare one, and that's the real deal. The real deal. Number five, the perpetual turnaround. Number six, dog with fleas. Dog with fleas. All right, so let's kind of start off with the first one, which everybody's worried about is something which is a scam. Are there penny stocks that are scammed? Yeah, a small percentage, probably. I would say maybe 2 to 3% of these penny stocks actually are outright scams. I'm talking about a scam by like a fraud, sort of like what if you ever saw that movie Gold, which was about the Briek scandal, with Matthew McConaughey, where something is just fabricated, fabricated financials, fabricated, everything is it's an outright fraud, right? Number two, this one you got. So again, that's only 2 to 3% of the market. I would not worry about scams. Usually these things are kind of obvious, or they are so good that they suck a lot of people in. We've never, personally, I've never, gotten sucked into a scam. My company, we haven't, taken on any clients that were frauds. You never know. Knock on wood. But so we haven't had that. I wouldn't worry about it. Number two, this one I would worry about. This one is a little more common, and that is the fake it till you make it. What do I mean by that? So, and these are very common in Canada. They seem to be manufactured in Canada. What is it? The fake it till you make it is the type of stock which is basically, as soon as a hot theme develops in the market, whether it's, I don't know, cannabis, e-commerce, solar energy, whatever, you name it, something becomes a hot theme and one stock takes off, something moves up 5x, 10x, all of a sudden, or there's a hot IPO in a sector and a stock really takes off, all of a sudden you have these promoters that start manufacturing. They manufacture these companies. So they say, hey, we're Me Too. We're like, okay, so this company went up 5x and, we're, we got to something similar. So, and you can kind of tell what these guys are doing. Basically, they say, hey, we're the next, ABC, XYZ company, what have you. The idea is, so basically, what they do is they bring in a CEO, and you can tell usually 90% of the time, the ones that are really bad are the CEOs who have really no experience in that market. Like, you look at the guy's resume, the last 3 deals, he had, he was doing cannabis, this, that, whatever was the hot theme, flavor of the day, he was doing, or she. So, they've never really had any real industry experience. I mean, the background has been, capital markets, they were a broker, they were investment banker, what have you. Then they ran a couple of these, flavor of the month type companies. Their idea, these fake it till you make it, what is their idea? Is it a scam? It's not a scam, it's not really a scam. Their goal is really to just pump up the stock, and ideally, they hope to make an acquisition. Once the stock is pumped up, they want to raise money, make an acquisition of a real company to merge into it, and hopefully that thing takes off and they can get out of their stock. That's kind of the game plan for most of these guys. So these essentially are story stocks. Now, they can work out. Okay, so if they have something which is halfway legitimate, if they, look, some guys are really just, they're dialing it in. They're really not serious about it. They're just, tagging along. Then you have guys who are really serious. They are serious about faking it till you make it, but they really do want to make it. Eventually they, some of these can work out. It really depends on, a lot of it really depends on the promotion. It really does depend on the promotional effort, kind of the people they bring in, and can they do deals? Really, that's the thing. Are these guys deal makers? Because ultimately that's what it's going to depend on. And you're going to see that from the news flow. You're going to see how these guys act if they can be successful. Number three, the dreamer. So this is a type of stock which is, maybe probably 25% of companies you're going to come across in the microcap space. This is kind of like, I call it like the crazy uncle. It's this guy who comes up with ideas. It's really an entrepreneur, like a real, a guy who's, keeps starting companies, and most of them don't work out, but he's always got some new crazy idea. And the thing is, 90% of the time they're not going to work out. It's just not going to work out. But one out of 10, of these guys are going to hit it out of the park. You kind of need to see what they really have, because sometimes these guys stumble. Look, if somebody keeps going at it, and at it, they're relentless. At some point, they're going to hit a home run, right? So, I wouldn't write these guys off. Just be careful, knowing, usually they're into these wacky stories, big, massive market opportunities, some crazy business plan. But look, Airbnb, Uber, right? I mean, these companies did not make sense when they launched, right? Didn't make sense at all. And there you go. Somebody hit it out of the park. Number 4, the real deal. When I say the real deal, this is a stock. It starts out, and this one really does have potential to be not even a 10 bagger, but potentially a 100 bagger. So this is one of those really rare situations where you have an entrepreneur, they start a business, and they can really scale it, and they do scale it. These things are probably, man, could be 1 in 200, maybe one in it's I don't want to say 1 in 1,000, but it's 1 in a couple of hundred microcap stocks where these guys can actually go the distance. Maybe 1 in 500. I don't even know what the number is. It's really hard to say. I've seen a couple of these, over the course of my career. We've had a couple of them early clients, and they turned out to be these, real unicorns. Nobody had any idea. And again, I'll give you examples. One of them was Taser, which became Axon. Taser, that's the taser thing they shoot out. Nobody believed this thing. Everybody thought it wasn't going to work. Lo and behold, it became a massive success. The stock went up 200x. It took 20 years. Over 20 years, it went up 200x. And then you have Rick's Cabaret, right? The guy was doing a consolidation, a roll-up of strip clubs, right? And who took them public? I mean, they were taken public by what's the name of the brokerage firm? It was a mob. it was a mob related firm. I mean, the firm that the underwriter was, they were connected. They were connected. I think the FBI shut them down. Not any reflection on Rick's Cabaret or anything, but look, just to give you an idea, they couldn't, Goldman Sachs wasn't going to take them public. This is like in the 90s. I mean, Merrill Lynch wasn't going to take them public, right? So, and even like some of the penny stock firms, they really had to, so they kind of had to get somebody that was really kind of at the bottom of the barrel. But it turned out to be a massive winner, went up about 100x. It took them a while. They did a great job. Congratulations. Again, those are quite rare. Number 5, this is, you kind of want to avoid this one. I call it the Perpetual Turnaround. Look, this is one of these stocks that it's almost like a zombie stock where, they're always, they have a concept to work. It's usually an R&D type company. They're working on something, some big concept thing, and it's going on for years. Or, they got some other business model, and it's just, they're not really able to scale and get traction, but they always have an excuse. They're always able to, come up with, a reason for you to buy the stock. And these things have a run every year or so. They pop, then, fizzles out. It kind of goes in this cycle. It's really annoying. So you want to avoid those. And then you got the, the dog with fleas. The dog with fleas. I would say, the Perpetual Turnaround and dog with fleas, maybe we should merge them together. They're basically the same thing. The dog with fleas is that type of thing. It's actually, no, I'm sorry. Let me back it up. I had a change of thought. I had a change of mind. No, so the dog with fleas, excuse me, the dog with fleas is that stock which it really shouldn't be public. It should not be public. It's a company that might be doing 10 million a year in business, 20 million a year, whatever it is. and they've been around for quite a while. They've been around, I don't know, 10 years plus, and they're just not able to scale the business. Um, and you kind of see them, going through the motions. You see these companies, they present at investor conferences, once a year, whatever it is. They go through the motions to get some investor interest. But look, the reality is, if a company can't scale, if they've been at it for a while, it's the same management team. They've been at it for a while, and they haven't been able to scale. You want to avoid it. I mean, because again, it's like, I think what Einstein said. That same level of thinking. You keep applying the same level of thinking to a problem, you're going to get the same results. Don't expect anything different. So if these guys have not been able to scale beyond a certain dollar amount after many years, uh, there's better opportunities out there. Time is money. You gotta keep your money moving, moving, moving. So those are the 6 stocks you're going to encounter in penny stock world.